Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ikhwani fillah, we are continuing with our lecture series regarding the signs of the Day of Judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَقَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا, that the signs of the Day of Judgment have come upon us. We are seeing these signs, or we have already seen them, and just a few are remaining for us to see. The sign that we are taking tonight, Ikhwani fillah, is sign number 17. Sign number 17, ظهور المعازف واستحلالها. Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, from the hadith of Sahal ibn Sa'd رضي الله عنه, he says, سيكون في آخر الزمان. He says عليه الصلاة والسلام, سيكون في آخر الزمان خسف وخدف ومسخ. It shall happen before the day of judgment three things. The Prophet says, خسف وقدف ومسخ. He says, khasfun, the earth will swallow people. The earth will swallow people. Number two, he says, qadfun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will throw stones on people from the heavens. And number three, maskh, people shall be transformed. They shall be turned into pigs and monkeys. Khasfun wa qadfun wa maskh. The Sahabas, they asked, وَمَتَ ذَلِكَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, when will that happen? That there shall be landslides, people shall be swallowed by the earth. Number two, qadfun, stones, rocks shall be hurled from them from the heavens. And three, maskh, transformation, people shall be turned into monkeys and pigs. قِيلَ مَتَى يَكُونُ ذَلِكَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, when will this happen, O Prophet of Allah? قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, إِذَا ظَهَرَتِ الْمَعَازِفِ وَالْقَيْنَاتِ, when music becomes prevalent in society, when music is everywhere in society and the singing women are also there, then these three things shall happen. Are we together, ikhwan fillah? From the signs of the Day of Judgment is the musical instruments and the singing women. And this is something that we are clearly seeing in our times has spread like no other time. Every single house is affected or listens to music. Either in your own house or the neighbor's house will force you to listen to music. Akhwani fillah, if you look at the lecture series we had regarding Andalus, we said the Muslims, they built a great civilization in Andalus. And from amongst the reasons that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took from us Andalus was ma'siyah. We have to accept our mistakes. Andalus was taken from us because of our sins. And from the sins that we did is music entered the land of Andalus, that people forgot the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one man in particular, one man, till today, he is famous in the lands of Morocco, Algeria and Tunisia. This man who came by himself to Andalus and he destroyed Andalus while bringing these instruments of music. This man is called Ziryab. Ziryab Abu Hassan Ali ibn Nafi' al-Mawsili. This man was expelled from Iraq because his sheikh became jealous of him. The sheikh said, this student of mine is very good, he'll take over my job. So he became jealous, he plotted against his student, and the student had to run away. So Ziryab runs away from Iraq all the way to Spain, Andalus. When the leader of the Muslims at the time was the second Abdurrahman. As you remember, we mentioned that Andalus had three great people, all of them were called Abdurrahman. The first one was called Abdurrahman al-Dakhil. This man entered Andalus by himself. When Andalus was about to be taken from the Muslims, in the year 138, Abdurrahman al-Dakhil, and he conquered Andalus by himself, and he established the Dawla al-Umayyad, the Umayyad dynasty in Andalus after he had fallen in Iraq and in Sham. After it was taken over by the Abbasids, he formed this Umayyad in Andalus. This is the first Abdurrahman. The second Abdurrahman is the one we're talking about, Abdurrahman al-Awsat. He came at this time of Diryab. And the third one is the greatest leader that Spain has ever produced, Abdurrahman al-Nasir. So this man Ziryab comes to Andalus. He tells the Muslims that this is how you can enjoy life. He teaches them all forms of musical instruments, forms of dancing, so much so that music becomes present in every place of meeting. In every house in Andalus, people are singing, people are playing musical instruments. Then he taught them, you should have clothes for the evening, clothes for the day. You should have clothes when you're going for the weddings. You should have winter collection, summer collection. So he started making people be interested in fashion. Then he also taught them that you cannot eat one type of food. You have to have a 3-course meal, a 5-course meal. So dunya became so entrenched in the hearts of the people of Andalus because of this one man, Ziryab, and this is amongst the reasons mentioned by the scholars as the main reasons that led to the fall of Andalus. So, Ikhwani fillah, from the signs of the Day of Judgment is that there shall be a lot of musical instruments in our ummah, the ummah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah, Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari, has the most authentic book after the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He narrates the following hadith with the following chain of narration. He says, قال هشام بن عمار قال حدثني صدق بن خالد قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن يزيد قال حدثنا عطية بن قيس الكلابي قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن الغنم الأشعري قال حدثنا أبي مالك أو قال أبو عامر الأشعري قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يكونن من أمتي أقوام يستحلون الحر والحرير والخمر والمعازف. He says, from this ummah are people who shall make halal 4 things. They shall make halal 4 things. Al-hirra, fornication. Wal-harira, silk. Men are not allowed to wear silk. Number 3, al-khamra, alcohol. Number 4, al-ma'azif, musical instruments. The Prophet ﷺ continues the hadith. He says that one day these people, as they are near a mountain, a poor person will come and ask them, give me sadaqah. The people will tell them, go away, come back tomorrow, we shall give you sadaqah. And the poor person goes away. When he comes back in the morning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destroyed these people, the majority of them. He has destroyed the mountain, and whoever is left amongst them, he says, وَيَمْسَخُ آخَرِينَ قِرَدَةً وَخَنَازِيرَ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Rawal Bukhari. And the rest who remain shall be turned into pigs and monkeys until the Day of Judgment. This is authentic hadith, ikhwani fillah. So music is haram. Music is haram. Whichever heart has music, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes the ladha, the sweetness of Quran from that heart. There's no heart that can have music and Quran together. At the time, Prophet ﷺ, he came and he was reciting the beautiful Quran to the people of Quraysh. Some of the Quraysh used to cry even though they were not accepting Islam, because the beautiful message in the Quran, nothing is like the Quran. This is the miracle of Prophet ﷺ. A person who is illiterate comes with a book like no other. So one of the Quraysh, one of the enemies of Islam, An-Nadr ibn Harith, he goes to Persia, he learns from the stories and the folklore of Persia, and he purchases some music women, some musicians, and he brings them to Mecca. Whenever he sees one of the Quraysh listen to the Quran, he tells him, you have been infected by, I can't even call him Muhammad alayhi salam. You have been infected by Rasul sallallahu. I don't know how people have that. It's difficult to call alayhi salam by his name. It's not, I don't feel it's also an adab. So he says, you have been infected by what has been brought by this man. Come, you listen to this music. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verses in Surah Al-Luqman. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu swears that these verses were revealed because of this man. These verses were revealed because of music. So, ikhwani fillah, from the signs of the Day of Judgment is that music shall become prevalent in every society. Just for a point of benefit, ikhwani fillah, in history, the musicians, be they male or female, they are considered female. Are you together? The musicians, male or female, are all considered female. Are we together? Understood? There's no need for more explanation. They're all considered feminine. So it was not a good attribute for you to be a musician and coming with your sopranos. That's not the sound of a man. And that's what we've seen in our time when music has spread a lot. This also issue of LGBT has become more prevalent, and this is one of the wasila or ways that they're spreading this evil doctrine or evil belief of LGBT. Sign number 18. كثرة شرب الخمر واستحلالها قال عليه الصلاة والسلام ومن أشراط الساعة يشرب الخمر. From the signs of the day of judgment is that the Muslims will drink alcohol again. And this is present in our society. Unfortunately, we have Muslims, they take alcohol, and this is from the signs of the day of judgment. And you have seen, which Muslim country does not allow alcohol? Huh? Which Muslim country does not allow alcohol? Shukran, you're all correct. Yes, there's no Muslim country. All of you are correct, the answer. There's no Muslim country that does not refuse alcohol. Alcohol is present in every country that says they are Muslim. And they shall answer before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala why they are allowed such a ma'asiyah to be present in their lands.
What state?
Now, which country?
Like Sharqa.
But it's there, I've gone to Sharqa. طيب. Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, لَتَسْتَحِلَّنَّ طَائِفَةٌ مِنْ أُمَّةِ الْخَمْرَ بِإِسْمٍ يُسَمُّونَهِ إِيَّهُ. People from this ummah are going to make alcohol halal for themselves by giving it other names. From the names they give it, they call it mashrubat al-ruhiyya, they call it spirits, they call it wines. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, everything that intoxicates, everything that turns your brain is alcohol. Are you together? Everything. So when people are going to the chemist and taking this cough medicine and mixing it with Coca-Cola, that is also alcohol. And it has a very high content of alcohol. So ikhwani fillah, this is a musibah that is befalling this ummah, the musibah of alcoholism. Another musibah that I've seen spreading, and we as the sheikhs are not speaking much about it, is gambling. Ikhwani fillah, gambling is one of the major sins. Make sure you as a father look at your M-Pesa of your child. For many of our Muslim children are spending 10 shillings, 20 shillings, 100 shillings, 1,000 shillings. I saw a Muslim brother spending 28,000 shillings in one day in gambling. So this is a musibah that's befalling this ummah. And the final sign, ikhwani fillah, also another point of benefit, there's a drink, they call it non-alcoholic. Have you seen this drink? What is the ruling on non-alcoholic drinks? Question, is this water non-alcoholic? Why don't they label water non-alcoholic? Why do they mention those drinks in particular? Why do they call it non-alcoholic? Why not water or juice called non-alcoholic? What's so particular about this drink that they call it non-alcoholic? This malt or barley drinks, why do they call it non-alcoholic? Water is also non-alcoholic, but this one is a particular segment or a particular category that's known as non-alcoholic. Why?
Because it has 5%.
It has 5%. Any other answer? It's close. Non-alcoholic, ikhwani fillah, is alcohol originally. Then they remove the alcohol content as much as they can. Then they sell to you as almost 0%, not quite 0% alcohol. Are you together? Have you understood? It is alcohol. They have taken the alcohol content and you're left with a drink that's close to 0 but not quite 0%. My opinion, ikhwani fillah, and the opinion of the scholars of before, that this is not halal. This is not halal. For it still has alcohol content. And you cannot use alcohol for benefit. This is using alcohol for benefit, which is not allowed. The final sign of the day of judgment, ikhwani fillah, زخرفة المساجد وتباهي بها. And this, I don't know if Masjid Salam will enter this. Sign number 19. Sign number 19 is Muslims shall compete in mosques, in beautification of mosques. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يتباهى الناس في المساجد. The hour will not come until the Muslims shall compete with the mosques. We ask ourselves, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, why is it that we are not like those Muslims from before? Why is it not our worship, our ibadah, that sweetness that they used to have? For example, Urwa ibn Zubayr ibn Awwam, his father is amongst the 10 promised Jannah. Urwa ibn Zubayr from the grace of the Tabi'in. This man, whenever he used to enter the house, the family will keep quiet. Everyone will keep quiet. When he starts his salah, they will make noise as they wish. Because this man was so concentrated in his salah, he does not hear anything else. So much so was also his brother Abdullah ibn Zubayr. This man, Urwa ibn Zubayr, one day it was said to him, your leg has become rotten. We need to cut it off. Otherwise that is going to spread. It has to be amputated. Otherwise the gangrene is going to spread over the rest of the body. So he says to them, what is your suggestion, doctors? They say to them, the doctor says to him, we have to give you this alcohol so that you can sleep. This is, what is it called? The anesthesia. They have to give you this alcohol as anesthesia so you don't feel any pain and you sleep and you cut off your leg. He says, no, wallah, I've never taken alcohol and I shall never meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with any alcohol in my body. Do this. When I'm in salah, I will sit down and start praying. When I start praying, come cut off my leg. So he starts his salah and they come cut off his leg. Rahimahullah. He does not feel anything. But after they cut off his leg and they bring the fire to seal the blood, that's when the pain becomes intense and he faints, rahimahullah. These people had khushu', tranquility, ibadah was very sweet. Us, we do not have the same ibadah. And from amongst the reasons that we do not have that ibadah is that we have beautified our mosques very much. Our musalla, our prayer mats are very decorated. You look at the prayer mat, you start looking at the designs, you start counting how many squares, how many circles, you start losing yourself in the number of squares and circles. You don't even know how many rakah you have prayed at the end of salah. So it's best, ikhwani fillah, that you keep a mosque as simple as possible. Do not compete in mosques getting the best carpets, the best decor, the best paintings, the best wall art and such things. These things break the khushu' of the people. If you go to mosques in many countries, even Masjid Nabawi, what the Ottomans did was not correct. You come to the mosque, everywhere it's, when you go to the first saf or the second saf, it's all decorated. You could look up or you look down, your concentration breaks, ikhwani fillah. This is amongst the signs of the Day of Judgment, is that the Muslims shall not worry so much about the ibadah, about what the purpose of mosques are. They shall worry about the decorations of mosques. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, in the authentic hadith, he says, إِذَا زَوَقْتُمْ مَسَاجِدَكُمْ وَحَلَيْتُمْ مَصَاحِفَكُمْ فَالدِّمَارَ عَلَيْكُمْ. When you start beautifying your mushaf, the Quran, you start beautifying it, it becomes very beautiful. It becomes like a piece of decor in your house. Not to be read, just to beautify your house. When you start beautifying your mushaf and you start beautifying your mosques, فَالدَّمَارَ عَلَيْكُمْ, destruction will come upon you. In a different hadith, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he says, إِذَا زَخَفْتُمْ مَسَاجِدَكُمْ فَالْوَيْلُ لَكُمْ. If you start beautifying your mosques and going excess in that, al-waylu lakum, woe upon you. So the Shafi'iyah, they say it is haram, and we are from the madhab of the Shafi'iyah, to beautify mosques excessively, and also from the majority of the scholars, they say it is not proper for the Muslims to compete with regards to mosques. The next sign, ikhwani fillah, we shall look in the next lecture, is the Burj al-Arab, or Burj Khalifa. From the signs of the Day of Judgment is the Burj Arab, the Burj Khalifa, and these tall buildings that the Arabs are building every year. This is from amongst the signs of the Day of Judgment. Wallahu alam, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.